Potatoes are tubers. They're modified stems, which means that they are produced along the stem growing up, not down like a root would. So usually the way potatoes are planted is you dig a trench, and then you put a little piece of a potato in the bottom of the trench about a foot apart, and as the stem grows up, you cover it with soil. And the funny thing is that any part that's below ground makes tubers, and any part that's exposed to the light makes leaves. About 3 months after planting potatoes, we can start to wonder, so is it time? Can I start to get some potatoes? And as to what to look for, I look for when the plants are looking like they're naturally dying back. And sometimes they've been growing beautifully and they start to look like this and you think, oh my gosh, they're getting sick. But really the potato plants do just start to naturally die back as the tubers become ready. And usually that's sometime after they bloom, maybe about a month or so after they bloom. So then again, you wait for about this stage, and then we can see here that some of the tubers have popped right out of the ground and they're showing. And that's not necessarily a good thing because they can start to turn green and photosynthesize just like the leaves would be. And they produce some toxins that aren't good for us to eat when they do that, and also they get kind of bitter. So ideally we keep pulling more soil over the tops. But at this stage, when they aren't completely died back, is a wonderful time to harvest what are called new potatoes. So sometimes you can do that just by, clearing around the surface. And then you see this, nice potato sitting here. And, if it has a little bit of a green spot at one end, you can just trim that off. But that way you can harvest a few while the rest of them mature and start to cure in the ground and the tops finish dying back. But here's another one. But you can come in at this point also and just really take the main crop as well. I like to put my potatoes as I pick them in a box and then keep them in the box because I can cover them up and keep the light from getting to them, and it's also, nice and dry. So that's a good place to both cure them and store them if you aren't doing too many at once. So to harvest the main crop, I go back and forth between using a fork and using a shovel. The advantage of a fork is that it's a little bit easier digging because there's less resistance. Sometimes some of the potatoes will go between the tines though, and you'll lose them and have to come back and sort through the soil or use a shovel. Either way, you don't want to spear or cut in half a potato if you can avoid it. So you need to start far enough away. See, each individual plant here is going to be attached to a bunch of tubers under the soil. So I want to start far enough away that hopefully I'm not going to accidentally spear any. Oh yeah, see, there's some right out here. Wow, those are lovely. Sometimes it gets, what's nice and easy is if when you can lift out the whole plant, see like this, and they're still attached, and you kind of get a whole cluster. See, I did damage that one a little bit. It's so easy to do. Oh, I wanted to also mention that these little ones might be too small really to bother with eating, but I like to put them in the box anyway, because if you just leave them in the soil, they're going to be, excuse me, like weedy potatoes next year, and that's not a good idea. We want to move where we're growing our potatoes from year to year so we don't have potential diseases. There we go. Another nice people in here. And I cut that one a little bit also. So the ones that you cut are the ones we eat for dinner tonight.